drive by Choate all the time and think, oh my God, these are where all the really cute, really smart kids go. And they all wear shorts year-round. All the Choate kids wear shorts, and I wear shorts year-round, so I thought I should go there. But they give you lots of homework, and I won't tell you what my SAT scores were, but let's just say I would not have gotten into Choate. So, smart kids. I wanted to do this seriously, and so I'm going to talk about growing up in Wallingford, and you can ask me anything about like being gay or coming out advice or things like that, or also if you are interested in YouTube and new media and kind of like having a career in something like that. I like to talk about that stuff and give advice, so, you know, and I'm in no rush after. If there's something you want to ask me and you don't want to ask in front of everybody, you can, you know, we can talk. So, Growing Up Gay by Michael Buckley. I was born in 1975. I came out to myself in 1979. The Dukes of Hazzard premiered that fall. Now, you were not born yet, but maybe some of the teachers remember. It was Friday night. It was The Incredible Hulk and Dukes of Hazzard, and I was way too young to be awake, but I found some excuse, like, oh, I don't feel well, or oh, I'm scared. And I would just lay there, and I would watch The Dukes of Hazzard, and I saw Luke and Bo, played by handsome Tom Wopat and super dreamy John Schneider. That would be a good time for a PowerPoint slide, but they were really cute. And I remember so clearly at 4 years old thinking, yep, that's for me. I certainly did not have any sexual attraction, but I remember being very I didn't know, you know, thoughts like that, but I just knew, I thought, I would like to hug them. Or I would like to see them hug with their shirts off. They were cousins, not brother, if that makes it less creepy. But all I knew, though, was, even at that age, that male and female couples were all that I knew. So I put this in the back of my mind. I really did. I knew at 4, there was no doubt in my mind, but I just knew I had to exist somehow in this world that was straight, 100% straight. The world that I was living in 1979, 1980, up until probably 1993 was 100% straight. And it's funny though, I remember being 5, 6, 7 years old and how kids get spoken to, you know, parents, adults, aunts, assume everybody's heterosexual. So, you know, they ask you, so you got a girlfriend, Mike? And you're like 5 years old and you're like, oh my God, I like Dukes of Hazzard. Why would you ask me if I have a girlfriend? And even, you know, at 18 years old, your grandmother says, do you have a girlfriend, Mike? And I'm like, oh my God, look at me, Grandma, I'm so gay. But it's so funny how we're all raised heterosexual and we're all spoken to as heterosexual. So that's why when I talk to 5 and 6-year-olds now, I say, hey, you like anybody at school? Like, I don't want to put that in their brain. Oh, do you have a girlfriend, boy? Because I don't want you to think, what if I don't like girls? Whatever. So I knew I was gay at 4. I know everyone has different coming out stories, different time frames of discovery, but that was mine. And a lot happened between 4 and 18 when I officially came out. I went to school. I always had girlfriends. I had a girlfriend in kindergarten. Her name was Melissa. I used to walk over to her and I would pretend to go get like paste, glue, whatever it was, and I would kiss her on the cheek, and it felt so wrong for so many reasons. But I just thought I should, you know, try and act like I like girls. But by 2nd grade though, I was totally boy crazy. It was crazy. Like I knew what I was doing, but I said to myself, literally, I can't believe I remember this, in 2nd grade, you like boys, but you need to tuck this away and pretend you like girls for now, and Luke and Bo are too old, so whatever. And I knew in 1980 something, it was 1983, 84, 85, it just wasn't a great idea for me to tell anybody I like boys. I didn't know any gay people, there were no gay people in my life, there were no gay people on TV. I knew I had these feelings, I didn't know what to do with them, I just thought, keep them to myself. I would always look at boys though, like in school, like I would stare at them and just be like, come on, look at me. Come on, like, you know, maybe you, no one ever looked at me, and I just waited, no. I can tell you between the time I was born and the time I actually came out at 18, the number of openly gay people I ever met in person. Ever. It was probably 5. Less than 5. There were so few people I met, and they were always such faraway acquaintances that I would remember. But I would have been thrilled. I was dying to know anybody gay. And long before I got positive messages or affirming messages that it was okay to be gay, I started getting "it's not good to be gay" messages. If I ever saw a gay person on TV, they were suicidal, or it was some crazy drag queen club kid on Phil Donahue, which was before Oprah. And these kids were like so weird, and I'm like, oh man, does this mean I have to be like that? Like do I have to be like a club kid? I just want to be a normal gay. But the point is, all the images of homosexuals that I saw in the media were so troubled and so traumatized by being gay. And also, they all had like earrings. Like I remember when I was, it was kind of like the media's warning to spot a gay person. They were like, if they have an earring in their right ear, they're gay. So I remember walking down the street like, where's a guy with an earring? I'd like to see a guy with an earring in their right ear. I actually, this is a horrible story, I didn't write it down, but I wanted to look gay. So I took a pinball or something, and I put it on my ear, and I stood in front of the mirror like, yeah. I'll look gay now. People will like, no, but and the pinball thing fell in my ear, and I had to go up the street to the doctors to extract it. Dr. Bob, all of his children went to Choate. Shout out to Dr. Bob. But anyway, so I just remember just desperately seeking homosexuals, anybody, and I could feel it in the room too. I would look at people like, they must know, they must know. I mean, I'm so gay. I watched Wonder Woman, I watched Charlie's Angels, I speak in a British accent for no reason, and no one ever said anything. I'm like, I was dying for my family to be like, we know you're gay, and it's okay. So anyway, but then these are examples of things that really put me in the closet back in the day. My brother started picking on me for being feminine. I love my brother today. I was the best man in his wedding. He's been nothing but lovely and supportive. When I came out, he actually wrote me a 3-page note and a card. It was perfect, just so you know. But growing up, he picked on me a lot, which really hurt my feelings, and it really gave me a filter on my gayness. In middle school, I bought a poster of Billy Huffsey, who was an actor on the TV show Fame. My room had lots of posters. It was like Michael J. Fox, Kirk Cameron, Alyssa Milano, so I tried to mix it up, boys and girls. But this poster of Billy Huffsey was so inappropriate. It was like he had a shirt off, and he was in a towel, and he's standing there, and I put this thing on my wall, and I'll never forget the look on my brother's face. It was one of those moments that it's like, oh, this was not a good idea. And he just laughed at me, and honestly, if I walked into some kid's room and he had a poster of a guy, I'd probably laugh too, instinctively. What are you doing? That's so inappropriate. But it was just that type of remembering just like little things like, oh, it's not a good idea to tell people you like boys. And then in middle school also I noticed kids starting to be very mean. Not necessarily to me, but to gay people in general. Like I would hear people talking about gay people and, and just behaviors that they saw as gay. So I just, kept thinking, But here's the big one. I went to the Wallingford Public Library, right down the road, to look at the What's Happening to My Body book for boys. Because there were semi-racy pictures, and I could just go and look at this book and be like, oh, look, it's a scrotum. Sorry. I actually went many times to look at this book, and I've never told anybody, so you're not being
It's a scrotum.
And I'm sorry that I seem perverted, all my childhood memories, but these are my memories, and they're semi-perverted. So, on one trip to go to the library to look at the What's Happening to My Body book for boys, there was a book near it called Overcoming Homosexuality. Oh my God. So I remember looking at this book and then seeing this book, and I felt literally the whole aisle and I felt like books were going to fall on my head. I was like, oh crap, this isn't a TV show, this isn't a disapproving look from someone, this was a book that I sat and I read in my brain, and I was crying, and I thought, this is someone in writing, homosexuality is wrong. Now, I had already kind of thought it was wrong because I didn't know anybody was, and this was the time, AIDS was new, and people in the media were saying horrible things about gays and AIDS and yada, yada, yada. I didn't have any gay role models. So in this book, I looked it up again last night, and like, oh, it was written in 1980. And I remember seriously thinking, well, it was written in 1980, maybe it doesn't apply to me because it's like 1984, and maybe gays after 84 are okay. Like, I was literally trying to work it out in my brain. But as much as it upset me, and I couldn't grasp, because I was gay at 4 and I knew it, I couldn't grasp why I'd have to overcome this. I was just upset. But I still didn't think it was really wrong, and I just thought I just was upset that other people, including the author, thought it was wrong. So I knew, I gotta continue to act straight until it was time. And I think most gay people have that moment of, I know it, I'm fine with it, I just don't want you to know, so leave me alone, and when I'll tell you when I'm ready, mom, friend, just leave me alone. And maybe it's better now growing up. Is it better growing up? A little?
Yeah.
A little? Well, you're all here, so this is nice, because I wish I had anything like this when I was little. Well, you're little, you're not little. But you're all strapping young men and women. Freshman year of high school was terrible for me. This was very sad. Thinking back of this was the only time in my life I went to an all-boys private Catholic high school. I should have said something. And the school's motto was, "Be a man." Not other things. We had a class ring and it said, "Be a man." I thought, this will be funny. The boys will be preppy and cute. Surely one will be gay, and I'll look at him and we'll have slumber parties. Didn't happen. Nothing bad ever happened. And it's weird to talk about it because I'm very happy-go-lucky. My whole life I've been happy 98% of the time. This was the one year I was truly unhappy, and it took a big toll on me. It's really the only time in my life in 35 years that I recall being unhappy. There was a boy on the bus named Dean. He was a sophomore, and he picked on me every day. He would call me a sissy, a faggot, a girl, a homo. He would cough, like, "Faggot, my Buckley's faggot." And I was just sitting there, and he threw gum at me once. I had gum in my hair. He would throw things at me. And I remember thinking, I was so embarrassed, and I would sit there all red, trying not to cry. And I couldn't believe someone was picking on me. I'd sit, how is someone not saying anything? I'd look at other people like, why do you hear that? Why are you not helping me? And it was so intentional. It was me. There's no way of misunderstanding derogatory. Buckley's a faggot, cough, and it was literally. And I kept thinking, I'm going to stand up and say something one day, and I'm going to say something, and I'm flashing back, and I was always wearing like red sweaters and matching red socks, and I remember going home and thinking, don't wear the red socks tomorrow, maybe you'll look less gay. But I didn't, I still didn't. But it made me very depressed, and this is just to tell you an example of how crazy I was about, like very wounded. I used to set my alarm for 5 a.m. and wake up early just to pray. I would pray for like an hour and a half that he wouldn't pick on me. And I would pray, I'm like, "Dear God, please, don't let him be on the bus." And I would, please, and if he has to be on the bus, please don't let me burst into tears. And I used to put like smiley faces on my calendar and be like, "It'll be a good day." And then it wasn't a good day, and I'd go home and I'd cross it out and I'd put like a frown face. It was a very mental emotion. And if it was a really bad day, I'd be like 3 frown faces. Like it was such a difficult time, and I would pretend to stay after school every day to avoid him. So I'd tell my mom I needed extra help, so I needed to stay after for Spanish, or she would come and get me. And I was doing so bad in school, I'm sure she was like, "You're staying after every day. Why are you not doing so well?" I was like, "Well, I'm not really getting extra help. I'm just sitting there like crying and whatever." But luckily, sophomore year it just stopped. I was still avoiding the bus, but for some reason it stopped. He stopped picking on me. Maybe I prayed it away. I don't know. But that was like the one year that, and it's funny now because I talk to kids about bullying and stuff, and I just think, wow. If it had gone on another year, I don't know. I was really low for a full year. And looking back, I can't believe I gave one person, this ugly, he was ugly, he was so ugly. If he was cute, I probably would have turned around and, made eyes and be like, "It's okay." It's okay, good on me. But no, he was really funny looking, so I'd see him in the hall, like, "What's this? Why am I letting this guy pick on me?" But anyway, but I'm so embarrassed, what was I saying? I just can't believe I gave one person so much power and influence over my mood. And I always tell kids, because kids always ask me for advice on bullying and stuff, and this is what I wanted to say to him. I thought of this every day when I would sit there, I'd think, I'm going to stand up and say this. And I never said it, but I always tell kids this. You take your finger out and you say, "Stop picking on me. This is your one warning. If you don't stop, I will tell the principal. If they do nothing to help me, I will tell the school superintendent. If they do nothing to help me, I will call the police. This is your one warning." I said that, and it was so exciting. I'm going to say that, I'm going to tell them to call the police. But I just think, seriously, if you're getting picked on and bullied like that, and someone's assaulting you, you need to say something, and it could escalate further. But now I'm rambling. Have I lost you? Do you want to throw things at me? But anyway, it was a rough time.